Okay, now let's say we wanted to measure our resistance in the circuit. And let's say that we didn't know what the resistance value of this resistor was, and we wanted to know what the resistance is of this resistor in our circuit. In order to do that, I need to shut this circuit off, and I need to remove the resistor from the circuit in order to measure its resistance. So I'm going to take the resistor out of the circuit, and I'm going to place it just somewhere, wherever, it doesn't matter, into the breadboard over here off to the side, just so I can have it held in place. I don't have to hold it with my hand. So I'm going to measure this resistance, so I need to set my multimeter to ohms. Now, since I'm pretending that I don't know what the resistance value of this resistor is, I'm just going to start at the highest value of the resistance setting on my multimeter, which happens to be 2 mega ohms. It's totally unnecessary to do that, but if you really had no idea what the resistance value is, you could start and take kind of a methodical process and just start at the highest value if you'd like to. You could start at 200K or even 20K if you'd like. But just to go through the process, I'm going to go all the way to the highest setting for the ohm setting of my multimeter. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it all the way over to 2 mega ohms on my ohm setting on my multimeter. And I'm going to take my black probe and hook it to one side of the resistor, and I'm going to take my red probe and hook it to the other side of the resistor. It doesn't matter which way I hook up the probes of the multimeter. So right now I'm getting a reading of 0. Now, this is obviously because I've set my meter too high, but if we had no idea, we wouldn't know whether or not our reading is correct or not. So what I'm going to do is go down to the next value, and now I'm starting to get a reading here of 9, and I'm set at 200,000 ohms or 200K ohms. I'm going to go down to the next setting of my multimeter, and now I'm at the 20K setting or the 20,000 ohm setting, and I'm now getting a reading of 0.96. So I'm going to set it to the next setting, and I'm getting a reading of 0.973. So this is telling me that my resistance value is 973 ohms or 974 ohms. So if I were to look up the color code chart of this resistor, it's a brown, black, red color striping on this resistor. If I were to look up on a color code chart for resistors, I would find out that brown, black, red is a value of 1,000 ohms, which is about what I'm reading here on my multimeter, is about 1,000 ohms. Now, you're not going to always get the exact value that you're measuring on a resistor that it says on a color code chart. It's going to be around the value of that resistor value. It won't ever or always be on the exact value that the chart or the color coding chart tells you what the color coding is for that resistor value. So in this case, we get about 1,000 ohms. Our color code chart tells us that the brown, black, red stripes on this resistor is 1,000 ohms. So this tells us that this resistor is okay, and it's about at the value that it should be.